everyone. Welcome to a special episode of This Week in Esports. I'm surrounded by some game and glory here, and we'll get to these
one gaming
drinking pauses of water in a second. But anyway, we're actually starting an hour early. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. This is going to be a new early moment for the show, so we can host our special guests in the studio today. And we have, to my left, Tashi. He's lead esports producer over at 343 Industries / Halo. And today we've got Eric Snipe down. And Eric, how do you say your last name?
Rona.
Rona. See, just don't pronounce the W. This is something we now know and how it goes. Anyway, so Snipe Down's organization, Team Reciprocity, I think you are repping their brand right there.
Yes, it is.
Nice. Remember
I got
that?
it,
Monitor, yeah.
So Reciprocity was kind enough to support him getting here to the Mixer Redmond studio, and while he's here, we're going to be playing some Halo 5 Guardians, asking him a few questiones about his team and the upcoming very small event. It's a very, very small LAN, known as the HCS New Orleans event, right at 2:30 p.m. Pacific. Then we'll play the Halo World Championship recap video that Team Reciprocity made, detailing how they are all meshed together during that tournament. Meshed? Maybe a little bit of some stuff.
There's a little bit of everything in that tournament.
A little bit of everything, exactly. Now, after the video, stick around. We're going to talk more about what we saw, what's coming next for Snipe Down, and the entire team. So, Tashi.
Yeah.
You've been on the show before.
Yes.
Which we're very excited about.
Happy to be back.
We're delighted to have you here. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the viewers once again. Tell them who you are, what you do,
Sure.
and why you're on our set right now.
So yeah, I'm the lead esports producer at 343 Industries, and I basically run execution for all of our events and our entire program formats. Basically everything for the entire thing. So
No pressure.
Well, no, I mean we have an amazing team at 343 as
do.
well. So that's kind of my charter.
Okay, excellent. Okay, over to this guy to my right, Snipe
The real
Down.
celebrity here.
The real celeb, the one
Don't gas me up too much.
we had to keep the door locked because he's got a lot of onlookers out there in the hallways. You've been in the scene for a long time, and we're sure there are folks out there who might not know who you are. Get to know him, and this is the time. Give us a quick introduction to your history with Halo and as an esports player in general.
All right, so my name is Eric Rona. I go by Snipe Down. I've been competing since 2008, started in Halo 3. Been playing Halo ever since 2001, really, back all the way to Halo 1, 16-man LANs at my friend's house, linking up, system linking all the time. So I've basically been a Halo fan my entire life.
So you bleed Halo is what you're trying to say.
Yes, absolutely. And pretty much got my start with Halo 3, so if I had to pick my favorite Halo of choice, it would be Halo 3, but currently competing in the Halo 5 circuit.
Okay, excellent. Well, listen, guys, you both of you have the hands are doing things.
Jittery, yeah.
I'm going to let you guys jump right
do
into
this.
it right now.
Ready to go.
Play some Halo 5
Yeah.
with viewers while we chit-chat. Is it with viewers? Is that right? Or we guys have your play
I think it's
against
just us right now, but we're in the Team Arena playlist, so feel free to jump
There
in.
it
It
is.
actually just got
Try and
updated
match
this
us.
morning.
Aha, yeah, that's another big. And while you guys get going, I can also mention we just heard some really great news for the Halo franchise all up, which is that Showtime will be fielding
Yes.
in 2019. They're going to be fielding a live action Halo series. Why are you laughing there, Snipe Down?
I'm just picturing some pro player coming into the scene or something in one of the videos.
You in the show.
Just imagine.
Just you'll be there as just in the background,
Yep.
That
Trolling
actually
in
be
the
really
No, I'm
funny.
excited. That's pretty cool. I watched a couple different Halo documentaries or Halo videos.
Yeah.
There was, what was the main one that was on
There's
Netflix?
Forward
There was
Unto
one on-
Dawn.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
yeah, I
there
watched
it is,
all
yep.
That was good.
Yeah, that was a big one. Yeah, I think everyone's been really excited about this. It was actually announced a good while ago, but now it's
the official
now it's officially greenlit with Showtime. So
Yeah.
everyone's incredibly excited, and
Yeah.
I mean more Halo.
More Halo. Not a bad thing. And we were just talking about it before we get on stream here that the president of Showtime said this is the most ambitious project they've ever, began.
Showtime,
So
they go big, and that's what they do. So
Exciting.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool, guys. Well, we're still in our lobby here.
Should we
Just-
don
yeah,
our
I'd say
headsets?
don the headsets. Don them. Don them and be good.
it was a
And you guys also remember we are interactive, we are live, so feel free to go to those light controls and change up what is behind us. Obviously, this beautiful fuchsia goes quite well with both of these lads' eyes and entire color palette.
Brown.
So
Lennox does his research.
we're gonna try to do something. If we'll see if this actually works, but we're gonna try to every triple kill or higher. Is that right? Did I know?
Yeah.
I know he's gonna
Yeah.
regret. Tashi and I are like, we got
The
this. And
pressure
Eric's
is
like,
already
no,
on.
dear
Well,
we
God,
we were gonna set it at overkill.
Every overkill, I'm like, I'm playing like a couple games here. Don't gas me up too
Eric's
much.
feeling the
here.
pressure.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're gonna make a big deal of it when it happens. When and if it
Yeah.
happens, I'm just gonna let it
All
go.
right, Tashi, you're gonna be baited constantly.
What? We have to win
I'm trying
here.
to look good here, all right?
Oh my god, you're like one of the best players in the world. Like,
Yeah, well, you know.
yeah, put Eric on a giant stage with thousands of people watching, like totally fine. But here in the studio, have to get him a triple kill, and he's
Yeah.
all nervous.
This is the real test, by the way.
All right, here we go.
And remember, they're playing while I'm lobbing some questions at them. And hey, listen, you can lob some questions in chat as well. They're super nice. They don't hardly bite. I mean, verbally speaking. So remember that. And get ready because oh snap, they're gonna play is absolutely right, which is why we have
Yeah.
that nice ring of.
And
ring of
thankfully,
status there.
everyone's watching Snipe Down's POV, not mine.
Yeah. Our Lennox CG in the chat wants to know, Eric, how many years have you been playing Halo?
How many years? Full decade now. This will be my 10th season competing. But overall, I've been playing and competing. Well, I've been playing since 2002, really, at a higher level. But first started competing in 2008 Meadowlands was my first event.
2008 medal.
Is it weird to see like that you are now one of the veterans in the scene, whereas back in the day, like you were the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed young gun?
It's actually kind of hilarious looking at all these young guns that are popping up and just thinking that used to be me.
Yeah.
And then thinking about how that was 10 years ago. And it
I think everyone
really
shares
makes
that
you
feeling.
understand how much time flies.
So here's one from Paco Pavlov. Is Snipe Down excited to have new teammates, and how is Ogre 2 as coach?
Ogre 2 is a phenomenal coach. He's got one of the greatest Halo minds in the history of Halo.
I mean, he's the best player ever.
Yeah, he's
Like,
they
there's
call
no
him the GOAT
question.
for the reason. And then you have Pistola, who's one of my best friends I've made throughout gaming and just in life in general. And, he's also considered one of the greatest of all time. So very, very excited to be teaming with some very talented players, as well as two very new players, Trippy and Saiyan, who are young, up-and-coming players who are incredibly talented and just always want to get better.
Gotta like that. Actually, let's talk about that for a minute, which obviously you've been a successful Halo player for literally years now, a decade of actual experience here. I'm curious, what do you do to keep, how do you keep being on top? How do you keep yourself sharp?
I mean, I keep myself sharp by, one, playing a lot, and two, staying as mentally focused as I possibly can. It's really easy to get frustrated, flustered, and,
Like, how do you prevent that? That's because, I mean, you're going up against the bright lights, big city, and you've got, I remember in the documentary, we'll see here in a minute, it's so loud. I mean, even just on land stuff, but also outside of that, where you go from, being with 5 guys in a house to now going in front of thousands of people. How do you handle that?
I mean, you just really got to put it into perspective. You're playing against the best players in the world. They're going to outperform you sometimes. It's going to happen, and you just got to be able to fire back and not let those small losses affect you in the long run, just because it can get really frustrating. You can have droughts. There's players in professional baseball who get one hit for an entire month, and then they have to work back from that, and it's just a mental strain. But that's one of the biggest things, I think, is your mental ability to keep pushing forward, to keep get better, because a lot of people just kind of give up.
Yeah.
Was that hard for you to kind of mature in that way over time?
Absolutely. I think that's one thing I can say Halo has helped me honestly grow as a person, competing and going to these tournaments and really dealing with losses as well as victories. It really it made me specifically grow a lot as a person and individual.
Okay, I just got my first kill, so I'm really relieved right now. I was goosing.
All right, we're up by
Nice
2.
work.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
Okay, so this is a little bit of a question. Wolf Main says, Eric, who's your favorite teammate and worst teammate you've ever had? You can not answer
Main.
this, but maybe the question is, what are some of the things you look for in a solid teammate? What are some of those X factors?
All right, sorry. I thought I was about to get teammated right there and die. So my favorite teammate, I am probably just gonna have to say Pistola.
Because you guys were friends outside of.
Yeah, we competed in Halo 4 together, and then we switched to Halo 2 Anniversary. We teamed for one event, and then some unfortunate stuff happened. Pistola actually broke his hand, and we had to split up after that. But we ended up teaming back again in Halo 5, and we've been kind of a duo in a sense for quite a while now. And he's just someone that I really get along with outside of the game a lot. We spend a lot of time just in voice chats together, just hanging out. We talk about personal stuff together, and he's someone I really trust. So favorite teammate, I definitely say Pistola. Least favorite,
Here we go.
if anyone remembers Halo 3, the BTH roster was probably my
who was
least
on
favorite.
that?
It was me, Maniac, Demon D, and Cloud.
Oh, that
I
didn't
think.
last long.
It was Cloud, and then there was Destin at one point. Tizoxi got another. That team was not fun. I'd just say that team as a whole was
Wait,
my
so
least
do you want
favorite
to pick
team
one
I've
player
ever
there? Or are
been
you
I
gonna
was
call
gonna
out?
say,
I'm not gonna pick one player.
I feel like everyone rips on Maniac, so maybe just.
It was Maniac and D&D together was
jump on that
a
train?
bit tough. We definitely had a lot of blaming issues on that team. A lot of deflecting.
Good word.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Lennox wants the juice.
Yeah, Lennox does want the juice. Our producer's constantly yelling from the control room here. Another one over to Eric here. What else
Snipe Down has
besides
19 kills. Holy cow. Any triple kills?
Bunch of perfects.
Okay, that counts for something.
Does. You're gonna have to help us out and yell out when you see stuff, because I'm also monitoring chat. And once again, if you guys need to want to know something, ask away in chat, and I'll see what I can do to get these old peeps over here to chat a little bit more while they're very clearly focused on
Yeah, this is my
gameplay.
focus face for
This
sure.
is it's great.
Well, I'll let Eric carry, but I'm going to ask you a question, Eric.
Oh yeah.
So we just had the first online tournament, and very different results than what we've seen last season. You guys are in the finals with Renegades, with Tox and Splice not making it to the finals. Do you think that's a sign of what's to come for Orlando, or sorry, New Orleans?
I would love for that to be a thing. I would love a bit of a shake-up here in the top level of teams.
Yeah.
I think Splice, they didn't practice as much last season. I think with the new game types and new maps and everything, I think they really are going to have to work a little harder than they did last season to improve, just because it's not the same game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really do think the new teams that split up, I think there's a lot of better cohesion among the rosters. Not as much. I don't think the skill changed that much across the top 4 teams or anything, but I just think there's a lot more chemistry,
Yeah, it's all
and we
team
could
fit
see
stuff.
a lot closer competitions than we have over the entirety of Halo 5.
That's always good news.
Absolutely.
Like that. Hey, so Shades of Nades asks, with the new maps, I know, come on. Well, I don't think it's that, but whatever. I don't think it's it. But anyway.
Shades of Nades is the president of Team Reciprocity.
Oh, well, that would explain
So
why
thank you,
his-
Chad, for bringing Snipe Down on here. This is awesome.
Well done.
Hey, Chad.
He wants to know, with the new maps introduced into the HCS, how do you feel it's impacted the meta?
Yeah, the new maps, it definitely has impacted the way gameplay is, especially Oddball. I think with Halo 5, we have not seen a rotating objective yet. We've had Capture the Flag, which has been very basic throughout all of Halo, and then Strongholds, which is a bit of a new addition, and it takes away from King of the Hill, where there was the rotating objective. You have to set up around certain things. But with Oddball, it's a lot about rotations and being on the same page and really just directing your, as I get assassinated, directing your team around the map. And I think it has introduced a new meta into how to play objective game types.
There's also, with Oddball, it's a very different just like thought process with the ball itself. Like, do I drop it? Where do I rotate now? When do I rotate? All those little decisions that really can add up to so much, right? You make that getaway, you rotate it in time, and now your team's getting an extra 20, 30 seconds of time, and it makes such a big difference.
I think if people listened to our team's callouts on Oddball, the #1 thing you'd hear is rotate. That'd be one of the only things you hear.
It's like, get out of there.
No drinking games to
Yeah, yeah, no, you would end up
pretty well
little messed
plastered
up.
after. Grim Brother 1 wants to know what was Snape Down's favorite tournament.
Snake
My
down.
favorite tournament would
Snake
absolutely have to be X
Snape
Games.
Down.
X Games.
X Games?
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
The gold medal around the world.
Yeah, absolutely. That whole series of events leading up to it, there was a lot of drama. We lost a teammate before the tournament, about a week before, and we had won a bunch of events, and it just created a ton of storylines. And it felt like a movie. It felt like everything happened for a reason, and it was like we were the comeback kids, and I honestly almost passed out after we won because of how hard how excited I was. So
You're still
How
excited.
hard he excited.
how hard I excited.
Yes,
Yes.
still excited.
Yeah.
Please
I am.
hashtag that.
I have it all
right
Still
framed
really
and everything. I got the
Someone clip
jersey,
that,
the X
please.
Games pass, and everything. That's like one of my favorite memories ever.
Well, hey, Tashi, this is
Yeah.
a good question for you too. What do you have like a favorite tournament, a favorite event that you've been to that's
Oh, man.
just like, I know it's probably like Sophie's choice here, but I'm more just curious.
I'll cop out and name a couple of my favorites.
Okay.
31?
31 kills for Snipe Down. But
31? Tashi, I got this.
Jeez. Yeah.
you should be
I'll
a
happily sit in your
pro.
back.
Anyway, let's
You
hear
might
it.
have a future in this. Australia this year. We went to
right,
Sydney.
yep,
and it was
yeah.
the first time there was an official LAN event there. And the community over there, they're very tight knit. Like they're basically a family. And so it was exciting for me to like join the family. I got to hang out with so many players and finally meet them
Yeah.
after so much time. And we had a bunch of stations open after the tournament had concluded. And so I was just like running games with a bunch of amateur players and pro players alike, and everyone was just having so much fun. So that was honestly like just being part of the community there was so incredible. And then I think Halo World Championship Finals 2018 has got to be probably the pinnacle for me. I mean, what a beautiful venue, what a beautiful stage, incredible gameplay, so many fans joining us throughout the entire weekend. Yeah, it was just like, I mean, it's almost perfect.
It was nice. And actually, you'll be able to see what that, some of what that looked like in what we're going to see here in about 10-ish minutes. So
Ooh, here we go.
you
So,
go. Take us through, Tosh.
new map.
Yes.
Yes.
Might look familiar. This is a remake of Sanctuary from Halo 2. It's called Refuge. It was forged by Pone Jones, incredible forger in the community. And so Snipe Down's going for Sniper. Okay, perfect. We'll have a good show now. One thing super interesting about this map is... Oh, the rocket guy just committed suicide. This is the first map in Halo 5 for competitive that's going to have 2 snipers on it. So red team and blue team will have access to a
Really?
sniper off the start. So we'll have those incredible sniper battles that, you know, Snipe Down's
Yeah.
been part of for so long.
How do you feel about that?
I'm excited.
That is
more
a
sniper
quick
ammo on the
answer.
map.
More snipers. Better. You're feeling good
Yeah.
about it. Okay.
Oh,
Excellent.
there he goes. He picked up a sniper right there.
Maybe I can get some
worked out
triple kills this game.
Yeah, here we go. Sniper.
Yeah, let's try it. Come on.
Ring 2, Eric. I'm going to rocket him. He's dead. I got him.
Let's see. I'm gonna take a look here.
I'm falling. That threw me off.
Let's see. Man, there's a lot of what Snipe Down's favorite Halo series, your favorite H4 tournament. My goodness, there's just a lot of. Any other favorites you can list off that the chat will?
I mean, okay.
Oh God.
Favorite game to compete in was Halo 3, but if I had to pick like a favorite Halo in terms of how much fun I had, it had to be Halo 2. That matchmaking system, everything about it. I developed tons of friends there before I even really knew about competing or anything. So, from a casual standpoint,
Yeah.
absolutely Halo 2. There was nothing that compares. Competitive Halo 3, but yeah, I missed the Halo 2. Everything about it.
Well, let's talk a little bit about transition over to talking about NOLA. We are just about half a month away, couple weeks
Yep.
away.
July 13th to 15th.
July 13th through the 15th over there in New Orleans. What are you looking forward to most, Snipe? And also, are there any which team/players do you have in your crosshairs right now? You're
So,
really focused on.
Right now, it's really exciting because I've never been to New Orleans, and this season actually has 2 events that are locations that I'm not sure Halo's ever been. New Orleans and London is the second event.
Yes,
and I've never
that's
been
right.
out of the country besides Canada, which
Yeah.
I don't really count.
You shouldn't. That's fair. I'm just kidding.
So
Sorry, Canada.
yeah,
We're just so close.
doesn't
We
count.
are.
It's very, I don't notice any difference at all in culture.
Yeah.
Like, it really is much different. But so I'm super excited about that. New Orleans, you know, it's going to be a fun location, and I'm just excited to get new, just to play with my team in that type of environment. You know, we're a very new team, but like I said, I got 2 young players in Sand and Trippy who are always trying to get better and learn, and then one of my best friends in Pistola. So it's going to be a very fun event.
Well, speaking of Sand and Trippy, before we get, I'm going to go talk to you, Tashi, in a
Yeah.
second. But I'm, you know, having newer players, having those, you know, the young sprites, if you will, on your team, does that add a little bit of like breath of fresh airness? Does how does it change sort of the dynamic when you have people that maybe are newer to the scene, or certainly are newer to the competitive landscape, unlike yourself?
So it's really it is really, really refreshing having players like this, because they are competing at a high level, but they are also very open to hearing criticism, and they want to improve so much that they don't mind being called out. They actually ask to, you know, if you see something, to call them out, just so they get that information and can learn from it, which is, you know, a lot of people have a hard time dealing with constructive criticism or criticism in general.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. This is intense.
Get the triple kill.
No.
Come on. Oh, we have a lighting skit.
And,
like,
you know,
grid over to go.
with both of them, you know, we'll go over film, we'll go over theater, and I haven't, you know, gone over theater with a team in years. And with us, it's just every day we are improving. We'll lose a scrim, and we'll sit in the call for the next hour talking about what went wrong and what we can improve on, and then add that to our next day's gameplay. And we just don't let stuff really bother us, you know. So it's not fun losing, and I've been on teams that, you know, we lose and we don't talk the rest of the day. And this is just a really good group of guys. We play, you know, games together outside of Halo. We play Fortnite together, and we just, you know, we'll just text the group and say, hey, I'm just gonna sit in this call if anyone wants to come hang out, and we'll just sit in there and talk and chill together, and really just develop a good team chemistry.
Wow, that's brilliant. Let's talk about, let's see. Oh, Tabs Llama in the chat has a question. On the competitive side, you consider the ability to traverse a map as crucial as the gunplay?
Absolutely. I mean, look at players like Shotzi. You know, that's the #1 example that you can give on how the mechanics and how the game allows you to really use the abilities to make yourself more of a nuisance on the map. You know, Shotzi, just by staying alive and being a distraction on the map, will draw so much extra time for his team to come help him, and that's just little things, you know. Having the best shot, people are always like, oh, my shot is so good, that's the #1 thing I need to work on. How do I get my shot better? You know, that's awesome, and, you know, it's good to have a great shot, but if you're not putting yourself in the right positions, I always think positioning is way more important than how good your shot is. Obviously, you can't just be whirlwinding all the time. You got to hit some shots, but...
Well, let's go back to Nola and Tashi while we're going to give Snipe a minute here.
Yeah, triple kill.
Yeah, I really want those lights to come off. This is what I'm talking about. Focus, Eric. Come on.
You got it.
Get it together, Eric.
Tashi, what are you looking forward to most for Nola? I mean, what are there? I recognize that Eric is here, but like, what kind of storylines, players, teams? What are you looking forward to most, and highlights that you can?
I think one of the most exciting things about New Orleans is that we're sharing the entire event with Gears of War.
Amen.
Absolutely.
And this will be the first time, really, since MLG's done it in nearly a decade, that, you know, we've had a major console esports gathering like this. So I'm just excited for both communities to hang out, and we welcome everyone to join us too. But I'd say for kind of the Halo storylines, I think it's just seeing how all these teams adapt to the new, just new settings, the new meta. Like, I think we're going to see some upsets. I think it's going to be tough to Splice to stay on top, and same with Tox. And teams are looking really good right now that, you know, we're not looking as good last season. So it's just incredibly fresh, and yeah, I mean, can't wait to see who wins.
Nice. Well, I will say that one thing that both Gears and Halo are known for, I think, is some solid trash talking.
Oh, I got a double. I'm going to a triple.
Oh, go for the
I didn't
triple.
get it.
Do we give you the? You know
No,
what?
I
If
was
this
trying to body the
happens.
guy.
I didn't get it. It's all good.
Well, at any rate, I'm going to ask a real silly question, but we'll see what you say. Who's better at trash talking? The Halo community, the Halo teams, the Halo fans?
Or Gears?
Or Gears.
Oh, it's not even close. It's Gears of War. They'll legit get into fistfights. Those guys are insane.
None of that in New Orleans, though.
Yeah.
Tashi, like, okay.
I remember when Gears used to be part of the MLG circuit way back in the day. Those guys were insane. That's not even comparable.
No. Well, there you go. Gears, you've apparently thrown down the gauntlet already, so good to know. Cool. We're going to actually talk to you real quick, and then we're going to actually start our video here shortly. But in terms of up-and-coming players that not just necessarily NOLA, but certainly across the board in the Halo scene, who do you have your eye on right now? And are two of them on your team?
Yeah, well, I think for a while now, Trippy and Saiyan have been on a lot of people's radars as players that are, very solid. Especially Saiyan, he kind of got a lot of attention this last season, and for good reasoning. I mean, he was phenomenal the whole season. I think right now a lot of eyes are on players like Neptune. He just got picked up by squad. He's been moved up now almost 3 times over the last season to better and better teams. And their team right now that he's currently on is with 2 of my old teammates in Miquin and Penguin. So, and then APG is the 4th, and they've done phenomenal in scrims, and they got second to us in the last online 2K. And, that's great because when I was teaming with Miquin and Penguin, we got 4th in every single online cup, and now they're getting second, and I got 1st in the last one. So
everyone's moving
apparently,
moving on up.
It's funny how that works because, usually team changes, one person ends up getting, the worst end of it, and we both are all ended up on, I guess, good terms. And like I said, the skill didn't really change that much in teams. It's just the chemistry and really how it works. And that's super important when you're building a team, is having that natural chemistry, not trying to force things to happen.
Yeah.
How much do you know about Super CC evades?
That team is actually has been on my radar. I don't know. It's like Super CC, Tolik.
Yeah, they're kind of like
Envor or something like that, I think. And
they're turning some heads right now.
Yeah, they're I think they all have incredible individual talent. They are
they NA or
Yeah,
North
they're
America.
they have been amateur players for a while now, and they're slowly starting to move up the chain as well. I've been matching them since day 1 of Halo 5 matchmaking, constantly in matchmaking. So, but yeah, they're very individually talented. I really just think it comes down to efficiency, and that's getting objectives done, because I'll look at their scrim statistics and I'll see them outslaying teams by 40 and losing the scrim 7-3, and it's like, okay, so we're getting the kills, but we're not getting the objective done. So it's just about, and that's what film could improve on. It's like, okay, we're getting kills here as a team, we need to push up here, et cetera, and that's just taking your Halo IQ to the next level.
Sweet. Anybody you're looking at there?
I'm curious to see where Europe comes in.
Yes, absolutely.
We've seen them top 8. And I think top 6 last year, but there's been some big roster changes over there. Team Infused is no more. They've split up and gone their different ways.
Defused.
Yes. Excellent.
Sorry.
We should have a ding when
It's been a very long day already. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
So I'm curious to see how these new rosters shake up, not only in the European scene, but now on a global stage in New Orleans. And London, for the first time, will be open to all players from all regions. So, guys like Snipedown can go compete over there for his first time. And we'll have Australian teams there. We'll have teams from Mexico. So
Just a big old Halo love fest.
Yeah, exactly. So, for me, one of the big storylines is Europe, and just see if these new rosters are working within their scene, but also on the global stage.
Sweet, man. Well, listen, we are actually going to go ahead and throw to our fabulous, I guess it'd be a word that I don't think our executive producer enjoys, but Vidoc, something like that. And this is what? Did you? There it is. And this is actually all about the HCS championship here in Seattle, 2018.
Yeah.
And it goes into some of the backstory here for Reciprocity, and it's a good time. So take a quick gander at this. We'll meet you back on the other side. But first, here now, Halo 2018 HCS Championship.
So everything has changed since I competed. In my first tournaments, we would drive 11 hours for bringing their own TVs to the tournament. It'd be like 10 plus guys in a hotel room, sleeping on the floor, sleeping in the bathtub, whatever. And now they're out here playing for $1 million, crazy stage. The production quality's incredible. Spectators, a VIP lounge where they can get drinks while they watch, more people, bigger production, pretty crazy. All right, I'll give you a rundown of the Reciprocity roster here. We got your boy Sparty the dog. Spartan's a really well-rounded player, probably overall the best comms on our team. He's good with all weapons. He usually just ends up kind of playing an anchor role. The other three kind of work around that.
Time to move here. He has to go get the touch, which he does. He throws down the grenade. There's a second player there. They're all moving through the cave. Can they cap this one? They're actually going to steal it up. Picks it up. 2-2. We've got a bloody good game.
Eric is either on a mean flank or just cleaning up kills. That seems to be what he does the best. But he's got the smoothest shot of any player in Halo history. He puts up big numbers for us, cleaning up kills, cleaning up weak guys, getting a bunch of nice clean headshots.
What were you saying, Sam?
You got Austin Mickwin, who is very hyper-aggressive. He's got a little bit of an attitude sometimes. He's one of the biggest slaying powerhouses in the league right now. When he's on fire, you know, I feel like we can outslay any other team. That's probably our biggest strength. Penguin, who his awareness and his positioning, he plays very calm as well. His communication's concise. He small talks with teammates very well, and his power weapon usage and acquiring camos and overshields for us is something that we really need. And he's just a really good all-around player, and it fits really well with this team because we get a lot of firepower, like I said, with the other three, and he can sort of just go slip around the map and do nerdy things for us that'll catch the other team off guard.
Having Ogre 2 as a coach is very, very fun. He's just sitting there calling out for me, saying where everyone's at. It clears up a lot of the confusion that can happen in game when things aren't called out. And you know, having someone like him behind you be like, nice shots, Eric, or really good. It's like, oh man, I got the greatest player of all time behind me telling me I'm doing well. So a little bit of hype he can put in behind us, and he's very good at, if there's any tension or anything like that, he's very good at dismissing that quickly, making a little joke or something and getting us right back on track.
The toughest challenge about being a coach would definitely be the diffusing situations. You know, always something that happens after tournaments because it's just the nature of the beast in esports, at least at this level.
After Orlando, we got like 4th or whatever. We didn't really play that well that tournament against the top 4 teams, and we really didn't play that well against the teams outside the top 4 either. We were just kind of like looking like the team that would place 4th consistently. And then after a lot of scrims and stuff, it was actually the Wednesday before Columbus, we had a complete team meltdown. I mean, like, we all started screaming at each other.
What the F are we doing, you know? It's like, we're all great players. We're 2.5 years in. We all know how to play the game.
I think it was just we weren't doing that well in online scrims that week. We had a rough night or two, and, you know, Tyler was low on sleep or something, and his tensions were running a little bit high. I think it was Eric that said something after one of the games. He was just like, he just said it in a very direct way. It wasn't really condescending at all, but it was just like, Tyler, you can't do that. We need to do this. But I think Tyler took it personally, and that happens in those situations often.
How I'm treated by like my teammates definitely affects how I'm going to be playing.
He kind of just went off and screw you guys, you know, choice words that I won't repeat.
The way it happened and when it happened, like it literally could not have been worse timing. Every one of us at some point was going off.
When we start getting a little sporadic, out of hand, just start yelling stuff.
These Halo teams are very similar to any relationship you get in. You can't hold things in, and if something's bothering you as a team, you need to approach it in a constructive way, and you got to speak up. You just got to say it in a way that's not going to come out hostile, not putting down your teammate, make them feel bad.
So we almost bailed on the other team and quit mid-scrim. That's how bad it was, and then we talked it out, and we ended up getting back to it. We won the next like 5 games straight and won the scrim.
When we all laid everything out there exactly how we wanted to play, we all just kind of took a step back, said, this is how we need to play as a team if we want to see success, and ever since then we've had improvements.
And we were just destroying, and then we all laughed about it at the end of the scrim. So, you know, bad time turned into a good time, and then we've just kind of been riding a high after that.
We found our groove every tournament, from Orlando to Columbus to here. We've just gotten better and better, and it shows in every series and every game. We're still a new team. You know, going up against Tox, we're only losing by 2 games, but they've been a team for almost 3 years. And, you know, we've been a team for 3 months. And like, we didn't start making substantial improvements until just days before Columbus. You know, we started making better use of our practice, and we started getting used to each other's personalities, and we started learning how to kind of work around each other in and out of game.
Reciprocity with a pretty darn good start. He's not dead yet. He's 4-0 right now since. There is $1 million on the line this weekend. Everything to play for. This is the biggest stage for Halo Esports. And
Looking back on this stuff like 20 or 30 years from now, you're gonna look back and be like, how in the hell was I able to do that? Like, it's very surreal, and it's very like, we're all blessed to be able to do something so cool, and to be able to like go on that stage in front of that crowd. Like, I had soundproof headphones on and I could hear the moment I like hit a shot and hear people screaming. And you're not supposed to hear the crowd, but they're so loud, there's nothing you can even do about it. So it's like hearing stuff like that and being able to experience stuff like that. I mean, that's stuff that like people dream about. So.
Reciprocity have just hammered the game leading up to this event.
I think we definitely have what it takes to go all the way. We had some really close series with Tox and Splice and now Envy on LAN the last 2 tournaments, and we proved that we can go neck and neck with them. We just had a couple mishaps, a couple unfortunate events, and it just didn't happen yet. But I think this roster is very capable of winning a tournament.
It makes me want to go to the next event even more and try even harder to beat the teams that people say are better than us, because I really don't think they're better than us. I think we're just as good, if not better, and we just got to learn to close out.
No one's unbeatable at the moment. It really just comes down to whichever team makes the less mistakes and takes advantage of the opportunities that they're given. This game, Halo 5, is so fast-paced that if you're given one opening and you have a 20% chance of making a great play, you might as well go for it. But that's really where Halo 5's at now. It's just a game of instant decision-making, and the teams that are making those quick, fast-paced decisions on the spot are the teams that are going to be winning these events. Coaching these guys is great for me because I'm very competitive. I feel like I'm in there with them, I'm not actually controlling any of the characters, but I'm in there with them. I'm making play calls and they trust me because I'm, multiple-time champion. It's nice to be with a top team that's got, in contention to win the tournament. And all the way through Columbus, we played really well, and the big matches are coming up, so hopefully we can keep playing well. Well, we started today off, Championship Sunday, playing against Renegades.
That series went really smooth. Our teamwork was just on point. Everybody was kind of individually dominating.
Kept our momentum from yesterday. We beat them 4-0 pretty handily.
Two dead, Camel 37, 10 seconds.
And we faced off against Envy, kind of a little bit of a grudge match to see who's the better squad on LAN. Envy plays a lot more calculated and slow.
Flank on him. Meanwhile, all this is got. Did he get stuck? He did. Ooh. Pistola again.
Spartan does get away with a sniper rifle, though, so curious if Spartan can turn the tide of this.
They catch you off guard a lot. Even if you're winning the game, they'll still just kind of sit back and wait for you to make the mistake. It took us a few games to adjust to that.
Going into it, we all knew how good Envy is. A lot of my wins ever have come with Ola, and that's a guy that I always said I never wanted to play against him.
We kind of got blown out in the first 3, but then we had a big turnaround in game 4.
Needs to get this kill. McQuinn and Snipedown need to work together to get these kills here. They haven't capped it just yet. Oh my gosh!
Rwona!
Need to get this kill as well.
Overkill! What a time to do it! He steps up, hits the perfect, 4 dead, second flag. Oh my God!
Kind of stomped them game 5 and 6 also.
One of those, one's blue elbow,
Oh, but folks, is this a different objective team from Reciprocity or what?
Different team altogether. This is what we wanted to see. Inside, he sees the scoreline. He sticks it in, 3-2-1. GG-REC. We are going to Game 7, Andy.
What a series this has been.
We had the momentum going into Game 7, and we definitely had a couple leads during that game too, so it was neck and neck the whole way up.
Oh, we think someone just actually got...
I'm looking now. Go on, stay alive. Top mid, on team. I've shot team.
He finds a fresh one.
Oh my God.
So we were up 29-25 on Game 7 Rig Slayer. We had Envy exactly where we wanted them. I had gone to where the sniper spawns and I picked it up, and since my whole team had died, they were spawning on pretty much the opposite side of the map, so I had to try and take the sniper and run away.
He dupes him to the side. Spartan's got a sniper rifle as well. Look at that, spin around.
Right when I was about to thrust slide from where the sniper spawns into, towards where my teammates are spawning, my controller disconnected. And then I start looking down at my controller, like, I don't know what's happening.
Turn and face. Oh boy, it looks like Spartan's controller disconnected. That's big. Oh my gosh, you saw him look down at his controller. Controller disconnects.
Oh, no.
That could be a huge turn there. He was about to bring that sniper to Egypt. And now Envy's gonna get a camo. Are you kidding me?
And so, obviously, you know, like my Spartan in game just stood still.
They just melt him while he's disconnected. Now he dies a sniper. Now we have to try to fight for the sniper while fighting for camo, down in numbers, and it was just terrible.
Where does the sniper rifle go? It goes in the hands of Sayan. He's also got himself a camo as well. He turns one, there's another player just banking round. Over on the Batman, someone sees him, 3 players line up. Can he land any of these bullets though? He knows exactly where they all are. He'll be calling this out now. They're only down by 2. Oh my God.
Folks, you never see that. Sayan's just picking up no scopes now. You never see a controller disconnect like that. Very, very uncommon. You saw him look down right away, and as the observers cut to it, cost him because the pressure was coming.
Part of me wants to say, yeah, replay it, because our team knows that was the game-changing moment. That was why we lost.
Definitely sucked the soul out of us the moment it happened.
It very much was the turning point in that game.
They have camo, scatter shot, and sniper rifle on the side of Envious.
They have turned this one around.
As Envy absolutely has their opponents pinched back in this corner of the map. Scatter shot left. He's going to have to wait for that next one to come up. Tied. Looks like a 2-kill lead here.
See if he can get a pre-fire on one. Spots him over the edge, turns around. Absolutely. And there it is! Team Envious. They shoot, they score. $100,000 in the bank, and they survive to see another map on Championship Sunday.
Safe to say that was our finest series of the tournament so far. So much up for grabs here. Not only $100,000, but really the deciding match between which team sits higher on the power rankings in North America. And it went the distance all the way to game number 7.
Rules state that there's no replay for disconnects of controllers because that can be exploited. I think had we gotten through Envy, we would have probably beaten Tox the way that we were playing. We had a lot of momentum those last 4 games. We'd be in the finals, but you know, what can you do?
And I'm like 98% sure that game was ours if that didn't happen, but it's all about what ifs now.
We just got 4th in the world, you know, it's nothing to hang your heads too low about. They're just competitors and they wanted to win, and it didn't happen today, so. It's tough to say with the roster shakeups. You know, players want out of their contracts, players want to move to a better team. Every player's just looking to win, you know?
Making a change is like a risk-reward kind of thing. We could get better, we might get worse, but I feel like we should be better than where we're at. And it's like we should be more consistent and more dominant than we have been.
No one played poorly, and I think everyone's definitely confident in this roster. That being said, if there was a shakeup from the top down and there were players from Envy that opened up, it wouldn't be out of question for people to be looking to make moves.
I don't know what's going on in my teammates' minds. I could get back home and my 3 teammates could decide they don't want me on the team anymore. I have no idea.
I'm never the type of guy to say like, no, we're sticking together 100%, or no, we'll never make a change, because you just never know what'll happen. The way I look at things is I always just want to try and win. If that's with a current roster, or if it's, you know, somebody pops up who I think is a must grab, then, you know, it's a business at the end of the day, and sometimes you have to make a hard decision.
Just depends what everyone wants to do and how everyone feels, I guess.
Honestly, I've been to 3 World Championships now for Halo 5. I've come up short a couple times, and you know, this is just one of those tournaments that you want to have as part of your resume. Yeah, we wish we could go back and change a couple things, but you know, you got to move on, you got to look forward to the next series, and this is one of those that you just want to take as far as you can, and it'd be something great to look back on for the rest of your life.
Ready! Let's move!
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that Vidoc as much as we did. More importantly, guys, we're jumping in here. We're
Right back into the action.
Right
Ooh,
back into
another
the
new
action.
map. Perfect.
They, by the way, definitely were playing while we were also watching here in studio. Let's be clear. Like, we said, hey, listen, if you need to take a bio break, whatever, no. They are focused on what they're doing. But let's start off some questions now, having seen it. Now everybody else on the stream has seen that. Might be a weird question, but bear with me. How awkward is it to actually walk around with a camera crew following you?
Honestly, you just gotta completely ignore it at this point. You know, maybe my first year of competing when camera and the main stage and everything was a little shell shock, just I guess like spotlight shock in a sense. But now, since I've been doing it for so long, having a camera follow me around, you know, I'm more than happy to document and get behind the scenes stuff out to as many people as they can, so they can kind of see things, what it's like from my point of view, and talking to people about it. It really doesn't bother me at all. If I could do it myself, I would, but I'd like to have a more professional person put the videos together for me.
Oh, that's fair. Well, I guess I'm curious, like, how does that compare to, say, a roaring crowd? We'd heard in the documentary there how loud it was, and even with, you know, your noise-canceling headphones and some, you know, the best of technology and the best of intentions, it still does not bear any difference to a raging crowd. What was it like for you there on stage?
Honestly,
what is it always like? Maybe is the better question.
Yeah, you know, for a scaling thing, you know, there are some events where you don't even hear the crowd because the headphones you're wearing are very soundproof, and you know, you turn them up, you crank them just so that you're only hearing, you're not distracted by anything. Worlds was, you know, that was another beast in itself. That was the most fan support that I've had on a team in a while, and it was extremely, you know, it was you know, if any of my teammates did anything sick, it wasn't just them supporting one player. It felt like it was an entire group of people supporting just good competitive Halo, and our team as a whole, which felt fantastic. And you know, it's just something that you kind of dream of in a sense, just like have a group of people behind you cheering for something that you feel like you put, you know, a lot of hard work and dedication into.
Well, I'm going to ask this over to Tashi here for a second, which is that, you know, you guys obviously, like, Halo has commissioned these kind of documentaries, these behind-the-scenes looks. Oh, did you get it?
Yeah, I got an overkill.
Hey!
Let's go.
I'm sorry if you have a seizure. Please don't do that. This is probably not. Shouldn't have said that. Anyway, Tashi, over to you. In terms of, you know, there's more of a push even here in the esports scene in general to get those behind the scenes, to understand what players are like offline, online, offline, the whole nine. Wow, that was a weird, poetic intro that I just did there. Anyway, my question is like for you guys, where is the value? Like, why make this push? Like, what do you guys see from the franchise standpoint? What do you guys see as the point there?
Just like any sport, like you connect with the people, you know, the players, the stars, like where they came from, what's the story, what drives them, what motivates them, what are the struggles that they go through. Snipetown, are you getting another?
No.
Okay.
That guy.
I just see my kill feed with your name all over it. And so that's what really people connect to, and they want to follow, you know, they want to follow Eric and all the ups and downs through his career and his life and what he's going through and, you know, where he's at and all that stuff. And so it's just, that's how people connect. They connect through other people. So that's what really we hope, you know, grows the scene and gets more people interested in the sport. And really for these players, I think that's the biggest thing. It's like have people care about these players more than anything.
Eric, is it something that you now consider a part of being a pro player at this point, that you have to, part of it is the brand of openness and transparency with some of these behind the scenes docs and bringing people along for the ride?
Yeah, I think a lot of people like to keep private, and you know, it's obviously totally fine to keep your personal life to yourself, but I do think it's very interesting when people open up to the public about, you know, certain things going on in their life. And, you know, being a pro gamer is not just playing video games for a living, and, you know, there's a lot of stress behind it. There's a lot of security issues that a lot of pro players have. And, you know, I think it's very interesting to be able to connect with people on a real level, more than just, oh, we both enjoy the same video game. And I think that's, you know, something that streaming has really allowed that viewer experience to connect through.
Yeah.
And I just think that as a platform in general is just a very good way to connect with these high-level players.
Can you tell us about any experience? I'm always so curious about any experience that you've had. I mean, negative, positive, you know, things that stand out in your mind in terms of, you know, having to be the pro player persona while also trying to be a human.
A lot of people before, it was always very difficult to explain what I do to people.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Especially,
it's like Tashi's nodding.
yeah.
I think he gets the same idea. Continue.
That is the only thing. Like when I was in college, trying to explain to my professors how I need to go to a video game tournament to compete and all this stuff, and I'm getting docked grades and stuff just because I'm going to these events. I think it's just, in that sense, it's a little different. But that's really, overall, I haven't really had that many personal dilemmas with gaming.
No people following you home, mobbing you at the tournaments.
Story time?
There's story time.
When I was playing Halo 3 and I first came out and was blowing up in the scene, I had, apparently people found how to use the yellow pages and were constantly calling my parents' house phone over and over and over until like all day from 7 p.m. till 3 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
Leaving voicemails, and it got to the point where we had to disconnect our home phone. My parents were considering changing their phone number and everything, and that was the only real time where it was like, all right, this is getting kind of weird.
What did your parents think of that?
I mean, they didn't really know what to think. My parents were hard to convince in the first place to let me compete. They were, I did more chores around the house. I was like, I'll get my grades up. I'll do all this extra stuff just to be able to go to tournaments. And, I think I heard Ninja talking about this on stream, and I agreed. And, if you take more responsibilities and show that you're maturing and can handle these types of things on your own, it really speaks volume to, parents. And if you can take more responsibility and be a mature person, then they'll give you more freedom to compete at tournaments, if that's something that a lot of people struggle on being able to talk to their parents about. Because I was there.
What was so outside of tips wise, it's just if you are coming up against that barrier to entry, right? The people in your life that are important to you that might not understand outside of the what other kind of tips do you have for them? Sounds like just being honest and trying to do whatever it is you need to do in order to find your way into events or
I mean, I went
online.
so far out of my way to show my parents. I pulled up documentaries. I pulled up MLG tournaments, showed where the events were, where I would be staying, who I'd be staying with. I showed every type of little information to make them feel more comfortable with me traveling to these events at a young age. I was going at 15 years old, and a lot of parents are, what do you mean you're trying to travel to another state on your own at 15? Like, do you know these people? You met them online? No, you can't go to that. And it was very difficult. And then, I feel my parents were very open to it. They talked about it a lot, and I just showed them, like, I can handle this, and I'm mature enough to do this, and they put their trust in me. And it was, it was a battle.
Okay, so I would be remiss if I didn't mention that one of the things that chat's been asking a lot about is the Halo Master Chief collection here. Let's see, we've got a number of questions. One, their take on the updates. Two, ask about a possible MCC tournament after this season. Tashi, I'm gonna actually put that over to you because I think you might have more to say, more to chat about here, and then we'll bring it back to Eric.
Yeah. So the team at 343 has been, under the hood working on Halo Master Chief Collection for a little while now, and we're doing public flighting that people can participate in, getting feedback and improving things and adding new features and kind of modernizing the experience there. And everything's been going really well. And I mean, a lot of people have been talking more and more about MCC and MCC tournaments. And, obviously, like the HCS started on MCC. It was Halo 2 anniversary. So, and of course, it's got all these amazing older games that, Halo Esports was built upon. Halo 1, Halo 2. So. I mean, for us, like, we want to go and do things that the community is passionate about. And so I think it's very likely that you'll see MCC competition at some point down the road. And, we're really excited about that. And if players and fans are excited about that, like, of course, we want to support that. We want to get excited about it, too. So obviously nothing to announce today, but we're certainly talking about it and very open to it.
Excellent. I think
so you're telling me
hear that.
I might be able to play Halo 3 again.
So you're saying there's a chance. Let's see. Gotta see if there's one last question here, chat. Curious if you have. Looks like everybody got very excited when you started talking about that, so well done. Let's see. While these guys are still, have we gotten any closer to our oh, Tashi, well done. I see some stuff.
Thank you.
On the board here.
We're about to win.
Let's see. Overall, how do you think about the overall? What do you guys think about the documentary we just saw?
I can take this one.
I will have you take that one.
I think it's awesome. I saw an early cut, and the team. I mean, hats off to Team Reciprocity. They're a new organization, but feels like they're already so well established and have an awesome content team. They come out to all the events and support, guys like Eric and their passion. So, really hats off to Chad and the team there. And like I said earlier, like it's just so great to connect with the players on a different level than what you're seeing with gameplay on screen. So, hearing Ogre 2 talk about the team and introducing people and like, the ups and downs and moments with victory and defeat and all that stuff, like it's just amazing to see. And I hope we see more of it, not just from Team Reciprocity but other orgs as well.
Nice. How are you feeling there, Eric? By the way, I couldn't help but notice that there's a. Aren't you a?
One of these numbers is not
Tashi. Oh, he's got more ball time. He's doing. He knows his role.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Oh, it's a team dynamic. No, I take no offense here. It's a team dynamic.
That's what I'm saying.
Eric slays, I play
player.
objective.
There you go. Okay, good.
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna be over here to keep them apart. It's no big deal. Last and final things. I know we're going to be actually transitioning here in just a second, so I want to make sure you guys stick with us. But while we sit here and talk for our last couple minutes, what else do you guys want your fans to know? Halo fans to know. Give us the last little nuggets of wisdom.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just thank everyone for the support. Team Reciprocity, I am so pleased and happy to be a part of this organization. They've been nothing but kind and open to everything that we as players need, and they go out of their way to try and produce content. It's phenomenal. I've been on organizations that haven't really put that effort in, and it just feels like they care very much about the players and the well-being of the players as a whole, which kind of comes back to what Reciprocity really means. So thank you guys for supporting us, and I hope to see a bunch of you out at New Orleans for the first time.
There it is. Tashi, over to you.
I guess one thing to start with, amazing to have Eric down here or over here in Washington and on this show here. So
thank you,
I think we're super lucky to have such an amazing pro community. These guys are all diehard Halo fans. That's why they're playing, and we all share the same passion. So big thanks to Eric for coming out, and big thanks to all the pros who are competing online every day and are going to be in New Orleans too. So we're very thankful about that. And New Orleans is just a couple weeks away, so it's going to be an epic tournament.
If they want any more information.
So Halo.gg is your one-stop shop for anything Halo Esports. We've got a specific landing page just for New Orleans, so you can find out where to get your tickets, where to fly into, hotels, everything like that, and how to watch. So it's just in a few weeks now.
Cool, man. Tashi, how do they follow you?
So I'm at Tashi343i on Twitter, and tweet me if you got any questions. I'm an open book.
Snipe, Eric, how do people follow you?
People can find me at EDWSNIP3DOWN. That is my Twitter, and my Twitch is Snipe Down with a 3 as well.
Yay! Well, guys, thank you so much. We're gonna go ahead and play a quick clip of something here while we transition to our regularly scheduled broadcast of This Week in Esports. But go ahead and thank you once again for joining us here today. Now take a look at whatever this is.